blah, 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 blah. It's like, that was my fault.
I love getting spit on.
We don't need a man.
I'm literally delusional.
you know?
Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to Unfiltered Fashion Talks. We are now in a studio. I'm so excited. And this is really funny because last year I did a rebrand of this podcast and my first guest was Yannah. And look who we have today.
Hello.
Except this time we get a +1 and we've got Emma as well.
Hello.
So I'm so excited. They randomly came to LA. They told me literally maybe a few weeks ago. They're like, hey, we're gonna be here. And I was like, podcast. Let's record. So it's been really fun. Should we update them on our time so far?
So much has happened.
How have you liked LA? What's LA been like for you?
I feel like it's been a time. This is the first time I've ever even flown across the country. I have never left the East Coast, so I'm freaking out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same for Emma.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We just took a Spirit flight here
From Newark.
the day before New Year's, and
here we are.
we are here now.
Yeah.
We are
all
here.
in one piece.
Yeah, somehow we've made it. We've had some fun experiences. Yesterday we went to Malibu, which was super cute and fun.
Yeah.
We stopped and we were gonna go to Malibu Kitchen,
Yeah.
but apparently it was closed. So we ended up at this other place called Marmalade. Please let me know if anybody has ever been there, because we would love to know what your experience was like. We had the most out of body experience in
Literally
this
the only
place.
word.
And they just gave us a side of ranch, just out of
Just
nowhere.
randomly. And the people next to us too. They
Yeah.
they were drinking coffee and a Coke, and they got a side of ranch.
And the guy just came by. He was like, "Here's your ranch," and just dropped it off for the table. I was like, "Okay." And me and Emma had salads, but not the type that would go with ranch necessarily.
Yeah, I have a side of fries.
Yeah, and you had tacos and fries.
yeah.
It wasn't it was weird. Anyway, that's been our trip so far. Well, your trip.
just the ranch.
Yeah, just the ranch. That's been the only
That was the
eventful
highlight.
thing.
No, but we
Yeah.
spent New Year's together.
We did.
It was
We
the
had a
first
fun
time I've ever
party.
spent New Year's without my family.
Me too.
Yeah, so
fun.
that was crazy.
Yeah.
We went to a party with all your friends.
Yeah,
Your
you got
friends
to
are so
meet all my
nice.
people. Yeah.
And that's the first time we've ever really gone to a normal party together too.
Yeah, with nice people.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out so well. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're here grinding.
The only
Yeah.
way. It's a new year.
Absolutely.
It's day 2.
Day 2
New us.
grind set.
We started off strong in Malibu with a
Yes,
side
we
of
did.
ranch.
And oh my god, today we went to breakfast in Venice on Abbot Kinney because it's a cute little area. I wanted to show them that, and I didn't even look at what this place was called. It was good.
Oh,
I
it started with a
couldn't
G.
pronounce it.
Yeah,
It was
like a
Gelana?
something
It
like
was
that.
Gloria?
GJ. It was
Yeah.
Gloria.
Anyway, it was good. We had a great breakfast, but we were sitting outside under this tree that had I guess seeds, maybe some sort of
Berries.
fruit,
they
berry
looked
type
like a berry,
thing.
but they were really hard.
Yeah, maybe yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this bird decides to, eat some breakfast up there
With his friend.
with his friend.
Yeah.
And all these
directly
berries
above me.
literally just started falling on Emma. So if you see any in her hair, that's probably why.
Yeah.
We tried to get them all out. I think
Yeah,
we're good,
I
but
through your hair.
if one pops
That's
out,
great.
that's the reason. That's so funny.
Oh, they're on my shirt.
Literally have been the most eventful 2 days.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's been
O-
2
only,
days.
It's
It's been
only
2
eating out
days.
though. Only
Yeah,
when we're in a
yeah.
restaurant setting.
So maybe that's the issue.
Yeah.
eat
Yeah.
at
maybe.
home.
Yeah,
Eat
maybe
at
that's
home. We've
our
got
next.
food at
Yeah,
home.
we'll do that. That's so funny. But anyway, aside from that, I feel like we should do intros. I mean,
Yeah.
Yannah's been on here, so if you've watched that episode, you know a little bit more about her. But Emma is a new face around here.
Hello.
How fun! Do
Yeah.
you want to give us I don't know, a basic intro of yourself?
Yeah. Of course. Okay, so I'm Emma. I'm from New York. I graduated from FIT last May. I studied fashion business, and now I work in production for Catbird, and I'm art director for Vendetta along with Yannah.
Yes, which is so funny because last year when I recorded with Yannah, it still wasn't out. Vendetta was.
Yeah, we didn't
You were
even
still,
launch
yeah,
yet.
you were still like I think you had started to like post about it at that
Yeah.
point.
It was
We-
like pre-launch, like
Yeah.
We did like a soft launch, or at least, okay, we attempted many things.
it was a lot of trial and
It was
error.
the experimental phase of the beginning of our brand. So around November was when we had ideas going. We were kind of planning, figuring out our roles and stuff. Then obviously December is like, oh, we should drop something because it's holiday season.
Yeah.
So we did bows, and that was at the beginning of that whole bow trend. Like now everyone's wearing bows in their hair, but like a different way.
Yeah.
But that went really well for us, and we incorporated with that money. And January 10th is going to be our incorporation anniversary. And Valentine's will be our first year of our launch.
That's so crazy. I
It's
feel like it's been
crazy.
longer. I feel
I
like I've been
know.
seeing it for so long.
That's what
yeah,
everyone
because
says.
of all the pre
Yeah, but even
stuff,
at that, like it feels like 2 years to me at least.
Yeah.
Not even like just one. It's so crazy.
My friendship with Emma is like fresh and new too. Like
That's crazy.
Like we knew each other in college, but like we weren't really like close
Yeah.
until we live with each other and we're best friends and we're business partners. Like that's really what accelerated all of this, and it's kind of like codified Vendetta and like the
Yeah.
Vendetta girls and like what we're doing.
Yeah.
And just the fact that we're like bubblegum and ice type.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean?
That's perfect. Emma is ice.
Yeah, like
Thanks,
I was gonna say, like the ice cream or the good witch and the bad witch, like from Wizard of Oz. I'm like
funny.
Glinda, and you're the what is it? I forget.
the Wicked Witch.
The Wicked Witch. Yeah, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oof.
The Upper West Side.
the Wicked Witch of the Upper West.
That's so funny.
And I'm
That's
like
good.
Glinda, like
Yeah.
ooh, pink.
Literally.
Yeah, so I feel like that's really it. There's just been so much like symbolism and like motifs that we can just coin in with
Yeah.
that like it's just really worked with us, and the past year has been so crazy.
It has.
The growth and also just like the sense of community that we've
Yeah,
built
the
with
community.
our friends and like
Mhm.
the people that have been following us. Like it's turned into something really big. Our families are like on the train, on
Yeah,
the Vendetta
obsessed.
train.
Love that.
Yeah.
As they should be.
And like my grandma all the time, she's like, "Oh, how's your roommate? Oh, or is she your model? Or is she's the one who reads the tarot cards?" And I'm like, all of the above.
All of the
actually."
above. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah, like
That's so funny.
especially I feel like with you have like all your friends were our first fans, I feel like.
Yeah, which I really love and appreciate, because I feel like I've always been more on the quieter side, so like whatever it is that I'm doing, I like keep on the down low until I can show it.
Mhm.
And like my friends from high school, my friends from childhood, like internet friends even,
Your
or just like
coworkers.
coworkers all like obsessed, like always ask me about it, always like they were definitely our first purchases, which I'm like so grateful
Yeah.
for. And
Mhm.
like, you know, they'll like wear it out in public and whatever, like not just to be like, oh, I'm wearing it because Emma's here, like they're wearing it because
Right.
Yeah, we
they
haven't like told
it.
anyone
Yeah.
like come support us. We're just
Right.
like, "Hey, this is a thing we're doing." And they're like, "This is awesome."
Yeah,
That's so
people have been
nice.
so incredibly supportive, which is
Good.
like, it makes me so happy. Like I
Yeah.
adore it.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Right, which is so nice that like
Yeah.
it naturally came to us and we didn't
Yeah.
have to like, I don't know, like kind of
Position it or
yeah, like
send
place it
it
in front of
yeah.
someone, which is really sweet.
It's
and,
like genuine.
Yeah.
yeah, and we really try to like foster that community now. Like
Yeah. I feel like you guys are super like purposeful with it.
we're trying to. I mean, especially like your whole thing is like sustainability and stuff,
Yeah.
and like I think a lot of that also ties in with ethics, right?
Yeah,
so like
for sure.
just to have a brand that's purposeful and that like everything's made with intention and like really catering towards the person, but also like true to us,
Yeah.
and especially because we're the ones who are like making it together. We're like so 50-50, like it's in our apartment, like it's our lives, like our livelihood right now, so like it's really important to us to have that brand identity, but it's not like upfront like we're this sustainable, ethical, like blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
our thing is like our like kitschy look, the aesthetic, like
Yeah, it's
and it's like a sweet little like afterthought that like this is also like made with love.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like our thing is, since it's so balanced, it's like me and Yannah, and we're doing what we love, but catering it towards the people that love us,
Mhm.
Yeah.
for lack of a
Yeah.
better, whatever.
Reciprocated.
And yeah, I feel like our thing is our community, and it is like, oh, we are doing this like labor of love for you. And like a lot, like another perk is that it's like handmade and sustainable, and like
Right.
yeah.
it's like it's really just like for the people involved, I guess.
For the people.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not wording it the right way.
No,
like,
no,
you know
it
what I
is,
mean?
It is. Yeah.
But it's also
yeah.
like the behind the scenes is
Yeah.
really fun too, because
Mhm.
that's what's really developed our friendship. Like we spend so much time on this like brand that we care about,
Yeah.
but it's also like a mutual love and respect for each other too.
Yeah.
So we'll go to like all these small shops in the garment district to like source our fabric, and like that's our bonding time. Like we're on
Right.
like friendship dates at that point, like when we're like going to the garment district.
The best.
Yeah, right. And like our days off, we'll like just go.
I just thought about
What?
the time that we got spit on.
Oh no.
Would you like to elaborate?
Yeah.
I was
Okay,
at school all day.
So one of these friendship dates consisted of Yannah was at school. She's at FIT, which is right by the garment district, and she was just like sourcing, or she was doing something for a project with another one of our friends, Erin, who's also still in school. So they were doing a school project.
Mhm.
Shout out Erin, love you.
Bye Louie on Instagram.
And I had a day off, or I came home from work early. I don't know what I was doing. Yeah. But Yannah was like, oh, hey, like, I'm doing a project. Do you want to come down to the garment district and we can, like, do Vendetta stuff? You know, like, two birds with one stone.
We had Morgan's commission. We
Yes, yeah.
made like a different dress, a different colored Jocelyn dress.
Right. I remember seeing
Yeah,
that
the
one.
blue one
Yeah, it was
for our
pretty.
friend.
Really pretty.
So we had to go get the thread and like
yeah,
random
we had
things,
to
you know,
go
when
find her
you're like,
fabric.
oh, I
Yeah.
don't have this shade of blue.
Right.
Yeah.
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 It was one of those days.
Gotcha.
So it was like, we were already done with our garment district shopping or whatever, and we were walking
To get the
back
thread.
to school. Oh, we were walking to get thread, yes. And the streets over there are insanely busy. It's
8th
right by
Avenue.
Madison Square Garden, right by
Yeah.
Penn Station. So like
Awful.
people everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So you know, you've got to like stay close, like a tight-knit pack, so that you don't lose each other. So me and Yannah are walking, and me and Yannah and Erin are walking.
Yeah, Erin's
And-
like right up in front of us.
Yeah, she's in front of us. And as we're walking, I accidentally make eye contact with this guy. Like, just split second, I just turned my head and accidentally my eyes met someone else's eyes, right? And within a split second, he spits, like
His
at
wa-
me.
He had water in his mouth or something. I don't know.
No, he
I
like,
hope it was.
I hope it was water.
I think it was just spit, if I'm
Ooh.
being quite honest. And
Ooh.
he like, and I knew it was directed towards me, and poor thing, it hits Yannah.
Yeah, Emma's like,
Rest
oh,
in peace.
good, or whatever. She like says something like, oh, thank God. And I'm like, what just landed? I was like talking, because I'm the talker out of
Yeah.
the two. So I was like, blah, 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 blah. And then like all of a sudden I'm like, ugh, what is that?
And I was like, oh no. I was like, that was my fault.
Oh no.
And then I was like, whatever, we gotta get it together. We need to buy this thread because I
True.
have class in 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like drenched because I
Her
literally
whole
was
side
like,
is-
oh,
That's disgusting.
it was so gross. But
And it went right past my ear, like I heard it. It was like,
Oh. Oh gosh.
and I just had to pull myself back together. Like, okay, well, what shade of blue do we
yeah,
need
we
again?
got the napkins, cleaned herself off,
Oh my
got
gosh.
the, yeah.
But like, it's just been so many fun memories to
memories.
recall. you
So
know?
much fun. I love getting spit on.
No.
That's what I look forward to too.
Right?
The memories.
It was so much fun. No. Like the memories have just been like
We have
hilarious
fun. We
to
have-
retell.
Oh yeah.
We have a
Or-
good time.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. From the 2 days that I've spent with you guys, I've realized it.
It's been crazy.
It's been a fun time.
And the randomest
bring the
things
weird-
always, yeah.
Literally, I
We
think
bring
now
the
I'm realizing
weirdness.
it.
It's raining in LA, by the way.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was raining the first day they got here.
It's
like,
only been, and you know it's
Yeah,
gonna rain
we brought
later
the
too.
rain.
I know, I saw that. Yannah texted me and she was like, by the way, it's gonna be raining when we're there. And I was like, there's no way, it never rains. And then I checked the weather and I was like, you were so right. What the heck?
No,
So then it
I
did
feel like
rain.
as soon as we step into a place, the world turns upside down. And
Yeah.
like it should be like, you know, like this, you step into the room and the spotlight's on you or whatever.
Yeah,
Like no, it's just
no.
like it flips over and
We
like
step-
everything.
We step into the room and things start falling off
And then
the
it's just like
shelf.
ranch.
Yeah, you get served some ranch and
Literally.
birds start eating on top of you. Like
Pretty much.
so welcome to the Vendetta Girls squad.
It's part of the
Yeah.
aesthetic, you know?
Yeah.
Part of the lifestyle. I
Yeah.
get it. Okay, so Vendetta. Let's go into like the where you like actually started, how the idea came to life. What were like the first few steps you took? Things like that.
Do you remember pinpoints? Because I kind of do, but I want to hear your side too.
My side.
We're getting Emma's side today.
Emma's version.
Yeah,
Let's
Emma's version.
Okay, so I remember. Now I'm blanking out.
Do you want me to start it off and then you take over, or?
Yeah, how about you do that? Because
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I feel like it was around October, Halloween time. Like on the internet, like on TikTok, it was very much Jennifer's Bodies era, Maneater era,
Mhm.
where a lot of people were really just into that femme fatale thing. And we were like, oh my God, we kind of vibe with that.
Yes.
So I mean, like, you know, we watched the movies and we did all that stuff and we were like, yeah, this is something that like no one's really doing. And also it's a very specific archetype with like this girl you picture, right? Like the
Mhm.
blonde bombshell with like the silky dress or whatever. Like it should be more like spread out, inclusive, and you know, like not just exclusive to this one like girl that you see. So we're like, let's make a brand that can be anyone, you know, like, but like the feeling of the femme fatale. But also it was a big aspect of our personal growth too, because we wanted to feel like those femme fatales too. Like we were at
Mhm.
a point where we were all kind of a little disempowered, like our friends, and you know, feeling a little out of it on like the love life aspect too, to say the least.
Been there too.
Yeah. A lot was going on within our personal like love lives and stuff, and we're like, honestly, like we're great. We don't need a man
Facts.
to prove our worth.
You
like
tell
you know,
'em.
we said all the cheesy stuff first, and then we were like, you know what? There's an aspect of like divine, like dark femininity to this too,
Mhm.
and like we're really spiritual, and you know, like there's a really cool, dark, twisted side to the femme fatale that's like justice for her, you know?
Right.
Good for her.
Yeah, good
That's
for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, there's this like redemption arc part of the femme fatale story that no one really highlights. Like I've noticed watching all these like film noir movies and stuff, like it's the end of the movie where the girl like kills her husband or something, and like you don't know what happens to her after, or like she'll go to jail.
Right.
And it's like, you know, what she had a reason to kill her husband, or
Facts.
you know, or like, wow, like there could have been a way to like feel bad for her, make her like feel more uplifted. And then it turned into this like real world perspective for us where we're like, wow, we just had like these moments with like these men in our lives from different aspects of our love life, or like I don't know, for me it was like parental. But you know, where we were like, we're these cool like girl boss people that like can do a
Girl
bunch.
boss.
Yeah, no, I'm like girl boss.
She just called us girl
I know, I just called myself. I'm sorry. Okay, wait,
Definitely
we're gonna
fits
cut
Emma.
that out.
She's definitely a girl boss.
No, yeah,
Just look at her.
we're like femme fatale girl boss. That's like the perfect word to use.
No,
but
I get
like,
it, I get
it's
it.
the cheesy word to use
Yeah.
nowadays. But like, you know, we're go-getters, and it's kind of hard when like you're in like this male perspective of like whatever, you know, like you're just single girl figuring out your 20s. And that's really where it started for me, I feel like mentally. And it became this really cool thing to like draw up. But I feel like for you like it was similar, but I mean you have other stuff too, right?
Yeah, I mean it was relatively similar. I would say yeah, like especially during that time period, like last October, there was a lot all over media that was like pushing that femme fatale, dark feminine type of archetype, but it was kind of like shallow or like surface level. And Yana and I were both like really into it, or, you know, we were very into the aesthetic. We were very into that type of character and all that. But it was the media that I myself was consuming was very surface level. So I feel like our obsession or like infatuation with that was what pushed us to kind of go deeper. And we wanted to like create something more out of what we were seeing or what was already out there. So yeah, and I feel like we wanted to kind of create something that was a bit more personal, a bit more relatable, and more accessible for more people, because yeah, it like the femme fatale that you see like whatever on in movies, like Jennifer Check, for example, just to be one, is like just a very, she has like one specific look, you know, very like, you know, dark hair, sexy, a very like
brooding type of sultry, or like a Gone Girl type of woman,
right?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that isn't very accessible. Like,
is she just like a story character?
Yeah, it's just like one kind of like cookie cutter type of thing, but like a femme fatale is more of like a personality,
state of mind,
than
it's an attitude
than a visual image. Yeah,
for sure.
So that's kind of what we have been trying to build or portray while learning what it is for ourselves.
Yeah,
I love that. That was beautiful, guys. Wow. No, I really like it because I feel like I kind of went the opposite route with my brand, and I didn't have like a specific aesthetic that I go towards. I switch around all the time.
But that's fun too.
Time, which is fun, but I like appreciate that you guys went like aesthetic first, and then like the sustainability and ethics is like just a plus.
Yes.
Like you don't lead with that, and I think that's really smart because I lead with that and it's good. But sometimes I'm like, I feel like maybe I'm like pushing people away because the people that don't care about that just see that and they're like, oh, whatever, I want to like skip past it.
We've had the opposite where like on social media, like obviously like we look a certain way and we're our own models and stuff, and people are like, well, do you do plus size? Well, are you ethical? Are you this? And I'm like, yes. And I love answering back with like, yes, we do. And we do it all ourselves. And, you know, there's trial and error with that too. Like, grading is a whole other.
Oh my, don't even get me started.
We are still
I'm still figuring it out 2 years later. So,
and then obviously there's ethics, but then people are like, well, are your dyes a certain? I'm like, well, listen,
I know, I get that too. It's like zippers, thread. I'm like, of course it's gonna be polyester. I don't think they make them in cotton.
Yeah,
like I don't even know.
Exactly. I'm like, well, this is as close as we're getting. All the scraps are like under my bed. Like, you know,
we use everything. Like, that's how the panties and the scrunchies came to be. It's all extra.
Yeah. And like, it just happens to like, you know, fall together, which is really nicely with like my lingerie niche, and like loungewear is kind of a thing for me too. But like you also very much like a dressier look too. So we kind of figured out how to work together with that. And, you know, we can go from scrunchies to like a gown type dress. And we, you know, we started using pointelle, but now we can work with lace, and, you know, we'll move into silk and whatever. And all of this stuff that I'm getting from school, like I bring it home and I'm like, Emma, look what I've got. And it's like a whole bolt of fabric.
It's the coolest thing.
It's the best. So it's been kind of fun to like be naturally sustainable in this stuff. Like we're not really looking for it. It's just like within us to like care about it. Where we're like, well, we can't throw this out. Like we can totally do something with it, and like people will love it and we'll love it. And this whole past year, it's just been this crazy like journey of like our home turning kind of into a studio. Especially in my bedroom.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. But it's been fun because we did our first like 2 in-person events in Montauk, which is my hometown, and it was a flea market, and we got to do like our pitch for the first time, which you can't really do on a 5-second TikTok or, you know, on an Instagram caption, and people really loved it, and it was fun. And, you know, I'm the extroverted one, she's the introverted one. At one point I had to take my lunch break and she got to talk, and, you know, and then some people would come up to Emma and be like, wait, like I recognize you, or like, you know, it was just like a really fun experience to kind of get this really developed by midsummer. I think that's when we were like, this is real.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we have a couple people who like you know, ask for commissions or just like check in on us all the time, watch our stories. Like, you know, we work with like our little like influencer team now, which is
Love
fun.
that.
Like, we tried to like not have like big social media people, but like people who shop with us. Like, we try to like, you know, care for them, send them care packages, and you know, really stick to the loyalty aspect of the brand too, which is also part of like the ethics for us, I think.
Yeah.
Where it's like we give back to like the people who really believe in us, which is fun.
Yeah.
I'm same with you, where I'm like, you are, you give me so much, I need to give you all my time, you know, like
you don't have to, but I appreciate it.
But you know what I mean, like,
yeah, no, I get it.
Fashion Week, for example, that was
so
such
fun.
a fun time.
So fun.
You know, we tied in Vendetta, like,
yeah. Oh my god, we can talk about that. I totally spaced that's something we can talk about.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through like a timeline right now, like chronological order of like last year, since it's
been a crazy
2023.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
September was insane because like, you know, we like kind of had our like little blow up moment for like actual selling.
Right.
July, August, and then September was like boom, Fashion Week.
Yeah, it came really quick. Well, I also like planned it really last minute.
It happens.
But it worked out. It was really great. But how is it from your experience? Because I did a whole like podcast episode about like my experience with it, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm curious as like somebody who just like did it with me.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Okay, so for those who don't know,
spill the tea.
Yeah, spilling the tea on NTA Fashion Week right now. I was probably one of the first people you mentioned that you were thinking of doing it.
I think I literally texted you first. I just knew you'd say yes.
Well, yeah.
I was like, she's gonna say
can't
yes.
Say no.
I know, that's why. Not that I took advantage of that. But like...
No. Ethics.
I'm so sorry.
No, honestly, like I could have never said no too, because I just knew, I was like, this is gonna be really special.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was the first person she texted, and I literally was like, okay, like this is big, and this is going to be like a big year. June, I think you texted me.
Probably. Like, and then I made it official in July, but I think I started talking about it in June.
Yeah. And then you were like, all right, like let's, like, if you are down, would you do it? And I was like, yes. Yes. Of course. But you know, it was a really interesting thing to develop, where I was like, oh, from an outsider's perspective, if she's handling it all and I just have to go like visit a venue or something, I have so much time. I'm just making 6 garments, and
just 6.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. Month of July, just worked and, you know, worked on Vendetta, did my own thing. And as I just mentioned in this whole past discussion, we did a lot this summer with my other brand. But for Brunelli, I mainly kept it as like schoolwork. Like whatever I did for school, I added it to that social media aspect and whatever, and wasn't really doing commissions or anything. So I wasn't sewing for that much last year. And I had some ideas, and I wanted to do like this like rainbow collection and whatever. Like every look was a different color.
That'd be so cute.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what happened.
It kind of ended up happening.
I didn't have blue. That was the one thing.
You did have the most colorful collection.
I did.
I'm pretty sure.
I had a feeling, so I was like, let me run with it.
Yeah, no, as you should.
Yeah. The butterfly bodysuit was the only one that it was brown instead of blue, and that was supposed to be my blue look, but I ran out of time.
There was some blue butterflies.
It was like a navy.
Yeah, it was alright. Yeah, it worked out. Yeah. It worked out.
But yeah, so it was an afterthought, if I'm going to be completely honest, until mid-August.
That's how it was for me too.
Yeah. And I like went through this whole summer, you know, focusing on Vendetta, and all of a sudden I was like, shoot, well, that's done. I guess I have to think about Fashion Week because it's in a month. And I'm starting my senior year in college.
Yeah.
Which was the other side that I can bring into the discussion, because you guys are all out of college or done with it.
Yeah.
Everyone else
You're still in it. Which is why I was scared to ask you. I was like, she has school. So I'm like, I don't know if that's a good time to ask. But I'm like, I still want to give her the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know?
So it was honestly the most pivotal time of my life in like a positive way. Like obviously I've had some like really low lows and really high highs, but like in terms of change, that like mid-August to like late September, it was so much.
Yeah, you were doing a lot.
Yeah, I had a really like shitty job at the time, and was going through a lot of like lows with that. But then I got my internship at Mirapollet, and then I was doing Fashion Week with you, and then I was also starting school again. And I kind of was in like this tough spot with school with the professor that I had and just like finance and all this. So I was really trying to look at the bright side, but at the same time, like I'd come home and like get very depressed.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm doing something that no one else can just say they're doing except for like a handful of people. So I should be like so thankful. And you know, that's kind of how I kept my head up for a while, but I felt a little suffocated for a while, and I was like, why did I commit to this? But then as soon as I started spreading the word in like my circle of people, everyone was like, how are you doing this? Like, what? Like, you just got a golden ticket. And I was like, well, Natalia just kind of made it up.
Literally.
I met her on TikTok. Well,
what I'm here
actually,
for.
I've only seen her once in real life. And like,
Yeah, I'm literally delusional. That's the key to it.
No, but then I'm delusional too. So like,
So it works.
It's like the two wrongs make a right.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So that happened, and you know, I started school, and we were like 2 weeks in, and I emailed my professor like the morning of, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm skipping class. I have a fashion show that is mine. And she emailed me back, and she was like, what? Like, she got mad, but didn't get it. She was also like, we will discuss later.
Yikes.
And I was like, oh, okay. But no, I think it was really fun because, you know, I got my best friend / roommate / business partner involved.
All the above.
Yeah, like,
Yes, Emma was there.
Emma was there. I was like, you're coming with me. I like dragged you.
Absolutely.
And we got a little Vendetta table set up, which was really fun.
Super cute.
So it was like a 2-in-1 for me. And then,
Yeah.
you know, Emma's also like a big aspect of this for me because like even though we do Vendetta, like she's also just like my support line.
Yeah. That's important.
Yeah.
You need emotional support.
Like Emma comes home from her job and I'm like, can you steam this? Do you know how to whip stitch? Do you remember this one thing you learned in middle school? Here, do that.
Yes, perfect.
So like just the fact that I could have Emma alongside me was also just huge. You know, I felt very uplifted by the people, or still do, by the people who are surrounding me now, which is great. And then the day came, right? So we had the fitting, and it was raining.
Yeah, it was a gross day out that day.
And you were by like Penn Station, which is like
The worst, I know.
Like, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And you know, the models showed up and it was so great, and we were all just there to just like volunteer our time for like a really fun like exposure event. And we got to know everyone, like just meet all like of the other talented designers, talented models, and just be like, okay, this is game time tomorrow. And then tomorrow came, and I went to Emma Rubinson's house to get the drinks.
Yes, I forgot I
with
shipped
Emma.
them over there.
It was an Emma and Emma duo collab.
Yes, shout out other Emma.
Yeah, shout out to other Emma.
Yes.
And then Emma and I headed down to the venue, and we were like, whoa.
Yeah, you guys got there before I did.
Yeah.
I had struggles.
It was crazy. And then what did you feel about like?
Yeah,
when
you
we
were just
got
kind
there?
of like there.
Yeah.
I feel like you watched it all happen because you weren't like necessarily like in it.
Yeah.
So you got to be a little more chill than the rest of us.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely was kind of on the outside.
Yeah.
But I could feel everybody's like energy, and I was like, oh god, like
And you like know about it too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're in fashion too.
Yeah, so you
weren't
know
just
how
like,
it goes.
"Do-do-do-do-do."
Yeah.
So I like understood what was going on, and I was like, oh god, like these girls need help. I was like, let me do whatever. Like, so at one point I'm like setting up chairs, I'm constructing the runway, and like then I'm signing everyone in. I'm like, hi, you don't know me, but what's your name and what are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Oh, yeah, 'cause we
I
had
was
the
the
checklist for
clipboard
the
girl.
people.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that you did that. I think I put the list. I was like, please make sure everybody is here.
Yeah.
I think you gave it
But-
to me, and then I was like, Emma, you got
Probably.
this.
Yeah. I don't know what else I did.
You set up the whole Vendetta table.
Yeah,
So
you
you
were
got to
manning
see
that
the other
table.
side of the literal room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point I was like kind of helping dress girls. Like it was
Yeah.
all I just
You were
tried lending a
everywhere.
hand
Yeah.
wherever I possibly could.
It was
It's
just
like
awesome.
all hands on
Yeah.
deck.
No, it was great.
Yeah, and then at one point it was getting crazy, and like you weren't there yet, and
Yeah.
I was getting anxious, but I was like trying not to show it because everyone else was there. And I was like, oh my God. But then, you know, once you came, I think there was like a little bit of like a sigh.
Yeah. It was a sigh for me too. I was like,
like everyone was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
she
this
knows
will be
what
fine.
she's doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I?
Natalia's here.
I was just, you know, guessing my way through, but I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. So then I felt like that was when everything clicked. Like you literally like walked in the room, the elevator opened, and we were like,
yeah, literally everyone.
Yeah. Like, okay. Everyone put on like your game face.
Yeah, but you guys were setting up like really well. Like once I got there, all the chairs were set up. Like people were already in makeup.
Tracy and I were running.
Yeah, you guys were on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was very thankful for that because I think I showed up like an hour and a half later, something like that.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't like
long
crazy,
time.
but it like, you know,
it felt like
the
an
minutes
eternity.
feel like an hour.
Yeah,
that's what it was in that moment.
Especially
and then
the
all
first
of a sudden,
few.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was like 4:00 and we're like, shoot.
Yeah, it went by so fast.
We tried to do the rehearsal.
We didn't even finish the rehearsals.
No,
I don't think.
I'm lucky I got my rehearsal in, but
yeah, I
then
know if
Rachel didn't.
Yeah, somebody did. Yeah, I think it was Rachel. You're right.
So it was really interesting, and I mixed my own music, which was really scary.
I did too.
All these like little moving parts like that I would have never like paid attention to. I was like, oh shoot, should I? Never mind. Like we have an hour left.
Right.
Like it was a bunch of aspects that were like just everywhere. And then the fire alarm went off right when the whole entire everything was ready.
I've like blocked that out of my mind. I'm like, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that like, lasted like a hot minute too.
It felt like forever.
It felt like a good 10 minutes. I don't think it was fully 10 minutes, but like close.
I literally, it felt like a TV moment or like a movie moment.
Yeah.
I was backstage with Emma and I was like, okay, everything has aligned. And I'm like, and then the fire alarm goes off and I'm like, Emma, what is that sound? Don't tell me. Don't tell me that something's going wrong right now.
I was scared that like I did it. I don't really know what happened or like why it got set off, but I think with my friend who was like filming me, I think he was like plugging something in at the time. I don't think he actually set it off, but I think it just timed like the same time he was unplugging something, it went off.
Oh.
So he thought he did it. Oh. I thought he did it. I was like, what is going on? But I don't know what actually set it off. I don't remember.
I don't know.
If we
Someone
ever figured
must
it
have,
out.
like vaped or something.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Like,
but it was just like one of those things where I was right next to like a light switch or something, and I thought I did. I was like, oh my God, what have I done?
No, it was the moment where I first took a breath. Like Em and I like just like looked at each other and we were like, we did it. And it was like beep, beep.
Literally. No, that's how I felt. I was like about ready to grab the microphone to like start the show, and I was like, it was like I was right by the sound thing. Literally. Yeah.
We were like 2 minutes in and we were like, wow, we're the only fashion show that's gonna start early.
And then that happened. It didn't last too long though. We still were like relatively on time.
Yeah. But then the show went flawless as well.
Yeah.
I think we didn't really plan.
Minor hiccups on like the timing between the shows.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
I thought I would talk long enough for people to get changed, but I think they were a little slower than I thought. Slash, we had like complicated garments.
That's, it was very much high fashion avant-garde.
Yeah. Especially with like all the lingerie and like corsets and like tying people up. It took a lot longer than I was expecting.
Yes.
So I didn't think about like, oh, we can just like play music in between. Like I don't have to be like talking in between.
Yes,
like I didn't think about that.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, because I think with the first, well, with Veronica was fine. She was the first, obviously. They were all ready. But I think Tracy went second, and she had a big gap between a couple of her models because they were still changing.
Yeah.
But that's when I was like, oh, maybe I need a bigger break in between, and then it was fine. But
I think at one point I was like, how do I tell someone to put some music on?
Yeah.
Or, you know, I was afraid of people standing up, but everyone was super patient and like understanding.
Yeah.
It was also really nice that we had like a genuine, authentic crowd too. So everyone was waiting to see everything.
Right.
But otherwise, I think it went seamless. I was really nervous because that was the first time I've had anything off of a mannequin or off of Emma. Because the thing about Brunelli
Emma is the face of everything.
The thing about Brunelli is that she's also my fit model.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Emma is involved in every aspect in front of the camera and behind the scenes.
Yep.
We're a duo like through and through.
Literally.
So everything that I've made literally is fit to her body. So I was like, wow, even though these garments are stretchy or, you know, kind of adaptive, what does this look like on someone else? You know?
Right. No, but it worked out so well. I feel like it looked so good on all the models.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so good, and they were great. They were
Yeah.
so good, and you know, at one point I was like, oh my god, they're waiting so long, and you know, like this whole
Yeah.
thing was like a very camaraderie, like volunteer type of experience where we
Right.
were all just there and volunteering our time. That like, you know, I was just like, you know.
Me too.
I'm like, whoa, like this is all coming together, but also you're here and you're kind of waiting, and like
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out and you're figuring it out, but you know, it was just kind of like everyone was like hats off, you know.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. And then after that, the cleanup was great. You know,
quick.
Meeting everyone that came
Yeah.
was awesome. Vendetta had a couple sales, which was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I never
no, we
even
did
asked
well.
about
Yeah.
that. Did you guys do well?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally forgot to like ask. I was like, I wonder if like the pop-ups did well. Because I sold a couple of things too.
Mhm.
But I was like, maybe that's would
They
be more
were
normal for me.
fun.
But
It
yeah,
was fun. It was
I'm
good.
glad.
Yeah,
It's good to
I
hear.
didn't get to see the table that much, but like
Yeah, I
Emma,
didn't.
you
I
were there
literally
the whole
didn't go
night.
over there. Like, I don't know what was going on.
You guys were busy. I was
I
good.
know.
I was
You
doing
were
my
like in
thing.
it. Yeah.
No, like what did your experience like?
Yeah.
Because we like ran away. We're like
We, literally.
the show happened and then we were like, all right, go pop up, and like
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I didn't really know what was going on because
Same.
like I was like an outsider, so I didn't have all the like details and whatever. So you were just like, Vendetta's doing a pop-up table, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I get like, okay.
You're like, wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I was like, great, whatever that means.
yeah, so I'll bring the stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, and then you were like, okay, Emma, see you around, and I'm doing this pop-up. I don't even know how to use the square or the stripe or whatever.
Yeah, I brought my
Yeah.
iPad.
Yeah.
No, I did too.
Yeah.
But a bunch of people came over. They were all
Good.
very sweet. They were like, oh, like, what is this? I was like, you know, like, I'm with Bernelli. Like, she also does Vendetta, da-da-da-da, whatever. People were into it. They were like, wow, this stuff is so cute. They were, like, asking me questions. And
Yeah.
then, like, obviously, since I couldn't use this stripe thing, I was just making everyone Venmo me.
So funny. You're like, actually, Venmo me?
Well, whoever.
Yeah, we have like our
Yeah.
own like
Yeah.
our
Our joint
business account.
That's funny.
But it's funny. One of the models, I think,
Mhm.
yeah, the one of the male models, we had one, right?
Yeah, we had a couple.
Yeah. So he was like really into us. He would like come to the table, and then he like left, and then he came back and kept looking at the same thing, and then he left, and then he came back, and then he finally bought it, and I was like, oh,
That's
like,
cute.
I was like, he was thinking about like, you know,
That's the best.
yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And like I'd pop in every once in a while, but like it kind of turned into a meet and greet after.
It really
Yeah.
was.
Which was really fun because
Yeah.
I like felt I was like, oh wow, am I special?
Yes.
Like it was really fun. Because it put me out of the little like internet box
Yeah.
screen thing that I've been perceived in. And like I don't know, this girl came from Westchester and she was like, hi, like my mom let me come, and I was like, you're a child. Like you just came to see me.
That's so
And like
cute.
you know, there were some people who were like, I've seen your live stream since like lockdown, and like your life has changed so much, and I'm like, I have. Like whoa, like you know, it put a lot into perspective that
Yeah.
like you know, sometimes it's hard to like how do you say it, like acknowledge the change that you've made with your life and that the progress that you've made. And they were all just like, I've seen you since then, and now it's crazy that you're doing this. I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, you're telling me I don't know your name. You're telling me that you're proud of me? I'm like, thank you. And then my friends came, and you know, like me and Emma were just kind of having this moment where like, yes, like this is progress. Like this is really
Yeah.
cool. And it was just so nice because I think just the support and the turnout of the event was really, really special. That like was above whatever other fashion week show you could kind of have.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't some sort of like studios high production thing. It was very much personable and down to earth, while also being this like show that we all put together as like a team of professionals that have never met each other.
Literally. No, it's
like
crazy.
Tracy and Rachel were in the same FIT program as me in the intimate apparel, and we were all different years, and we're kind of all in the same niche, and I'm like,
Right.
whoa, you guys are so cool, and like we have the same background experience. Like, nice to meet you.
Literally.
So it was crazy. I had such an amazing time, and it's like unforgettable, you know, like it's something
I'm so glad.
for the books.
Yeah.
And a great Vendetta team bonding as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a lot of team bonding on that.
Just the two of us. Like,
Literally.
super. We did it.
You did do it. You pulled it off. It went so well.
But I'll teach you how to use a square, you know, eventually.
Yeah, those are important.
I
Honestly, I wasn't even running my own pop-up. I thought I would be, and I literally just threw it to Summer, who was doing another pop-up. I was like, can you do mine? And she just ended up doing the whole thing. I felt so bad.
She was sweet.
Oh,
She was
I know,
so
but I like felt
nice.
bad because I meant to do it at some point, but I was like, I can't. I'm so sorry.
And
I just threw my iPad at her.
Estudio Orgánico was also like running their little thing too, and I was like, you guys are awesome. Like,
I know,
everyone's
it was
just kind of
cute.
like
So fun.
multifaceted. It was so good.
Yeah, it was a fun time. But anyway, speaking of team bonding, have you just segueing into this? But have you had any like issues being business partners and friends, or like what's that vibe? Because that's not always easy, especially because you live together too.
Yeah.
It's like a lot to do.
Literally, no.
Yeah.
It is so weird.
You're just perfect.
It is we're not perfect, but we're so unperfect that it's perfect, if that makes sense. Where we'll like fumble around with something and then it'll fall into place. But we're so opposite yet so like compatible with the way that we work that it just works.
Yeah.
And we question it enough, basically, and then we're like, whatever, we both don't care. And then we're like, oh, that worked.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, okay, cool. So I feel like, I don't know, I think it's been really special.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. Like, we literally don't fight. Like, it's no problems ever. Like, it's perfect yin and yang.
Yeah, and
That's
like
so good.
it's funny too, because like, so we live in Manhattan, so it's like tiny shoebox apartment style. So I'll wake up and I'm like, good morning, Emma, we have to do this today. And she's like, okay. And then we're just like doing it. And then Emma's like, I don't really like this. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to do to change it? And it's just, we just communicate well, I think.
Yeah.
I can also pick up on her body language, same with me. Because I think we're both very particular people too.
Right.
So that's important that we do that, because that we know when to shift. Like in the beginning, it was a lot of like fit issues and stuff, and you know, figuring out sizes and stuff when we only have each other and a mannequin was difficult. So, you know, it was a lot of communicating through there. And I think that was the most friction we both had, because we were just frustrated that we both didn't know something.
Yeah. I get that.
And then obviously budget wise, like we're just like two broke students. Like, you just graduated and we're trying to figure out like what's going on with what to invest in, what to put our time in, because obviously like time is money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another point of friction, really. But it's not even that. It's just like talking through it. But we're both patient enough with each other to do that, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like all about communication, just open communication.
Yeah. Like, I think it's really just been that, and we're open to listening to each other, and we'll take our turns, and if we're not really understanding each other, we call it a night and we go to our bedrooms.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Like, that's really what it's been. And it's just been great. We kind of keep notes of like what we have to do, and you know, figure out our schedules, because we also have very opposite schedules too. So whenever we're able to do Vendetta, we do it. And we set out that time for it. And that's really it. There's no like science. It just happens to be that we work well, and we also live with each other and have become best friends through that, which is awesome. Like, we've been friends, but have also like gotten another level of like appreciation for each other, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like specific roles of what you do in Vendetta, or do you like both just kind of do whatever?
We do have like job titles.
Right.
Like, Yannah's head designer, I am art director, but it has melded together.
Yeah.
We like overlap, and we are both capable of doing each other's jobs to an extent.
Right.
So like, you know, whenever we design, it's like a collaboration. Like,
Yeah.
we will come up with the item together. Just Yannah's like more educated in pattern making and
how do we do it is my
she's more educated in like the construction aspect of it. Even though I can sew, so I have sewn many
which is so
Vendetta
helpful.
items.
No, that literally
she takes over the basic like seams together, parts together,
That's so
and then
helpful.
I'm like, all right, hardware. I'll teach her how to make a strap. And like stuff like that. But Emma's really like the head of like what is cool. Like Emma's like she'll like,
Emma is cool.
You know what I mean? No, actually literally. Like Emma will text me one day I'm at school or something and she'll be like, this is awesome. And I'm like, okay, I know how to make that. I think I can figure that out. And then that's kind of how a lot of the things start.
Yeah.
Or we just kind of like journal it. Like we have our little like unofficial journal kind of situation for Vendetta. And the Instagram's kind of like that too. Where
that is like our journal,
where that's kind of where we keep all our little treasures for when we can, you know, do production and like focus more time on our actual garments and stuff. Because, you know, right now it's kind of like haphazard, trying to just build back the funding that we've put into it and stuff like that. Like we're taking it kind of easy now with the creative aspect, but we have all these ideas that like you've kind of like said like, hey, what if we do this? Is this possible? And then I'm like, yeah, well, we can do that if we add this. And then that's when we kind of spiral off and just like are like, let's do this giant thing. And then we're like, okay, well, actually we have one sewing machine, so let's dial it back. And then, but you know, eventually like we have so many big ideas that we just text about or talk about that I feel like really start with like you saying something and then me piggybacking saying like, yeah. And that's really how the dynamic is.
Yeah, it's very much a collaborative, like layered process. We definitely build upon each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. As it should be. Do you have any big plans that you can share? Any like sneak peeks to New Year?
We didn't bring anything.
Yeah.
Well, fair, but
I mean,
we are definitely planning something for like our 1-year anniversary, like a Valentine's Day situation.
So excited for that.
I've really gotten Emma into the lingerie stuff that I do at school. Like at first it was mainly thinking of doing dresses and stuff like that. But I think now that we kind of figured out like how to teach Emma how to sew that stuff, like elastics and whatever, we want to do more with the panties that we've launched.
Yeah, those were cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
And possibly some sets.
Oh, I would love that.
Because now I know how to make bras of different kinds, which is really fun.
Literally, I would die to get a bra from you.
Yeah, so I do want to work with underwire a little more, maybe a bustier or something.
Ooh.
Soft bras like bralettes are like definitely gonna be in the near future.
Good.
And we're thinking of sets, like not just like underwear, but like, you know, like a top and bottom sort of idea. And any fabric that you've seen around in pictures on my Instagram or on the Vendetta Instagram are definitely going to be used. So that's a big clue. And I love doing handwork and, you know, beading and stuff. So I'm sure we'll do some sort of embroidery.
Things like that. Things with more detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like super like curated, like unique pieces are like what we're aiming towards, something that's just like catered towards the buyer. Like we definitely want to be some sort of like made to order type model, where people come to us and they're like, this is this really cool idea that we have,
right?
Which it's been like that so far. I think.
It has been, which is
especially
really
with our
exciting.
friends.
Yeah, that's the best because you get to be a little more creative with it and not just make the same thing over and over again. Which is nice.
It's like more special, more personal. It's like, wow, this was specially made for me. I know the person that made it. Like, you have a story to tell when you wear that garment.
Exactly.
We like want to lean out of accessories basically.
Gotcha.
because it was definitely just because like we could hand make that in our
Yeah, they're
room.
just easy and quick.
Yeah.
That's how I started too. I mean, it does well because
It
you can
does.
sell to like a different customer base that can afford it.
Yes, exactly. But we
But-
definitely want to go more like, I guess, like luxe.
Yeah. Yeah, you
something
definitely have that.
special for
For
sure.
sure.
And
Yeah.
probably like more in-person events too, because that did
Mhm.
really well for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it was
something I
also
also want to do.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so much. Like New York Fashion Week was most fun just to like see people that actually
Mhm.
follow you in real life and like actually put like faces to like the usernames you see or just like the
Mhm.
numbers that you see. Because sometimes I just like look at a number of following and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what does that mean? I'm like, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything to me to see like thousands of followers. I'm like, cool, it's just a number. But then you see people show up and they're like, oh my God, I've watched you for so long. Or like, I've been up like here since X whatever. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm like, there's
Yeah.
actually people behind a screen. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Literally, who would have thought? It's so crazy.
I think that's happened often with like me and Emma had a discussion about how like she's my face of not just like Vendetta but also Brunelli.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple occasions where they're like, Emma, or like a friend of mine's like, Emma, and she's like,
It's
how do you know
the
me?
weirdest thing because
Yeah.
I don't know what you post because I don't see it. Like it doesn't show up on my
I'm
phone.
shadow banned.
Rip.
Yeah,
I see it.
I see you in real life. It's okay.
Yeah, you see me enough. You don't
Yeah,
just see me on the
you see
screen.
enough of that.
It's happened to me a couple times where like a complete stranger has come up to me like at school or at somebody's apartment or wherever, like someone I do not know, and they're like, "You're Yannah's friend," and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, like,
Yeah, like a 2-pack at this
Yeah.
point.
Literally. No, that's how I felt too. I felt like I knew you, but I genuinely like hadn't talked to you really prior to this. Like I met you at New York Fashion Week, but not really because I didn't get a chance to talk to
We did,
anybody
yeah.
that
For a
day.
few
We
minutes.
superficially met
So like I
everyone there.
literally
Yeah.
was like, hey, like I acknowledged your
Yeah,
presence and that
yeah.
was it.
But it's the coolest thing. Like
Yeah.
I love it. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
Literally, but then Yannah was like, oh, me and Emma are coming. Oh my God, stay with me. Like, literally. Yes. I'm like, I don't even know Emma. What am I saying?
No, literally, I'm just like dragging Emma across the country. Like this,
Literally.
like if you put it in like outsiders, like perspective, it's so weird. I'm just like, yeah, this is Emma, and we're like a joint, like
Yeah.
2 for 1.
Literally.
Like take it or leave
And I'm
it.
internet girl.
Yeah, literally.
She is my muse. Like,
Quite literally.
you know what I mean? Which is
Yes.
like awesome because like you like listen to fashion history stuff and whatever, and like you know there's Audrey Hepburn or like
Yeah.
someone like that, and
Yeah.
it's like you're my Audrey.
That's the
That's
coolest thing.
so
Yeah.
cute. I love that. That's perfect. Well, that's a great place to end up off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give us all your shout outs, all the accounts, all the everything. I'll leave the links down below, but you know, where can people find you?
Yeah. You wanna?
Well, we can both be found at Atelier Vendetta, which is Atelier.
Yes.
Atelier is hard to spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Atelier.
Yeah. And then my personal Instagram account is mkubek, which is just EMKUBEK.
And I am also part of Atelier Vendetta. She spelled it out, so.
Yes.
And Brunelli Designs, which is BERNELLI.designs on all social media platforms. So yeah, it was really
Perfect.
fun being on here. I am like
Yes.
so grateful
I loved
to be a
this.
part of this experience.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm so glad you guys were the first in studio guests.
Yeah,
this
full
is so
circle
fun.
from
I
last
know,
year.
literally, it's so crazy. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you, Natalia.
Of course, and thank you guys for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, or whatever you do for podcasts. I don't know.
Yeah.
And check out our Instagram and TikTok. I will hopefully actually be active on there. And that is it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.